Okay. All right. I think everything should be fine now. I was having a bit technical difficulties, but now we are good to go. Hopefully, everyone had a good Thanksgiving. So now it's time to rock and roll. The market is back. We're back again. Another great week ahead. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see how we can capitalize on this week coming. First thing first, before we start going through it, everyone know what I like to do. Let's make sure we go and check the economy calendar, see what we have coming up for this week. Okay, okay, economic calendar for this week, and let's take a quick peek and take a look at that. See what we have going on for this Monday. Okay, we have the manufacturing PMI, and then we have Fed Chair Powell coming out. I think he has a speech. So there's not much news coming. But as we look toward the end of the week, really seems like we're going to have some market moving info coming out. Um, ooh, Import Price Index, ADP, that's the private sector employment job numbers. Then we also gonna have on Thursday initial jobless claim, the U.S. trade deficit. This might be rough. So let's brace ourselves for that. This might be really rough. Um, and then we have a bunch of data that was supposed to receive last week that was delayed, that were delayed pretty much. So we'll take a look at those as well to see, hopefully, if we get those. These are the kind of numbers that the Fed will be looking at before they make their decisions. Hopefully, those numbers do come out, so that way they no longer have that excuse saying, "Oh, we have no idea what's going," blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So now we have to. As I always do, every single Sundays, we go over the fear and greed meter. Right now, we know we still at extreme fear for the stock market, but as opposed to last week when it was around 5 or 6, which was crazy. And this is why I was telling everyone I do not believe we're going to have a market crash right now. The market does not crash when everyone's expecting a crash. That is just something that just doesn't happen. But right now we are 24. We're rising. We're still rising from the bottom. Excuse me. If you look at crypto, crypto is the same thing. Extreme fear still, but we've moved up a lot, uh, considering where we started. Now, again, I've been saying that for quite some time now. I believe everyone knows exactly how I feel about that. I do believe when it comes to Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving week specifically, the market is almost always green because they want us to be home happy and spending money and traveling and not be depressed at the family, dinner table. And then we also have that Santa Claus rally. However, a lot of times, what happens a lot of times, we do have a pullback right after the Thanksgiving week because we typically warm up so much. There's a bit of a breather that takes space, and then toward the end of the month for December, we typically have a massive rally that comes off. And based on how we're setting up and the news that's out right now, it seems like this is something that may be a crazy, nice rally on the way up. Starting with Jerome Powell talking about, we need to loosen restrictive policies when it comes to interest rate and so forth. So technically, if when we're talking about QE, that means we're going to crank up the old printing machine, right? And if that happens, um, I don't even know where the market is going to end. But all that being said, that was just my little spiel of what I think might be going on and checking on the news. Now this is where the fun stuff begins. We digging in the chart. The chart is where the money is made. This is where the money is made. This is where we see exactly how things are going to transpire. Right. So as we go on the chart, okay, pull up the chart here. Okay. Right now, what I have up is the oh, sorry about that. Okay. Right now, what I have up, I have the S&P 500 up right now. This is the weekly chart, as we can see. Let's zoom that in a little bit so you guys can clearly see. You can see right here, this is the 1 week chart. Let's make this nice and big for everyone to be able to see exactly where we are as we break it down. This looks like, this everything's all over the place, but as we go down in the lower time frame, you're going to see exactly the clear picture of what just happened, right? So when I remember on the market did this, so this is our support level. Why is it support level? You can see this week it tried to goes down, it came here, it bounced again that week. Then it tries. I will never forget this Friday. This whole week just got completely smashed in one day. That was this Friday. When the market came here that Friday, I was like, I'm not too afraid of it because we were at a trend line pretty much. Not only were at that trend line on the we were at that trend line on what I mean at support, at horizontal support, but we still had our trend line still sitting strong at the time. Trend line was still sitting strong, so we had, in my opinion, there was no fear. I had nothing to worry about. I said, hey, it seems like we're still okay. And then we pretty much moved, and as you guys can see, we found some strong resistance level right there, right? Right there. So let's say we want to do that as more like a, yeah, we're gonna leave it like that exactly. So technically, what ends up happening? So for the week, we sort of have this little area here. So this has become our range area. This is our range. Now let's go on the daily and see exactly what's happening. But before I do, one thing I wanted to let you guys wanted to let you guys know before I do that exactly. Just bear with me for one quick sec here. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. There you go. This is how they fake you out, right? This is how they fake you out. You can see here how as we were moving up, we're moving up, we're moving up. They scared you out, brought you here, and a lot of people got freaked out and they sold. And then what happens? The smart money comes in, they buy, they push it up. And then at this level, they brought it right back to that support level again, right? And then a lot of people started calling for a 40% crash. There's a 40% crash coming. Maybe there's a 50% crash coming. Oh my gosh, the market is done, yada yada, and all this stuff. And one those times, like in my community, I'm telling everybody when I'm doing those meetings, like as of right now, I am a little skittish, but I'm not panicking and I will not act on emotion because I can see we bouncing right at this level again. And what did we do? Boom, we bounce. Now, as we go into the daily time frame, why I was calling these things, I wasn't guessing. This is not guessing. So the daily time frame will give you a better understanding of what I was looking at and why I was calling the things I was calling. Again, this is still the SPX. You can see here that's the daily chart. If you look at the daily chart, what exactly do you see? You see we're moving up, and as we are moving up, right? So this is our low, moving up in that trend line. This is our second time coming back to that level. And this line, this is a dynamic line, right? That's dynamic support. So as we're going up, that support level is moving up as well. And then we also came here. So when we had that day, when we had that big sell-off that day, and again, it was not a day where a bunch of people was making videos on YouTube about how the market is done and yada yada and all these things. And I was like, yeah, that's scary. And as a matter of fact, I trade options personally. As a matter of fact, I bought calls um, right at this level. And the reason I bought calls is because we were at our trend line, upward trend line level, and I trust those levels because I just trust in my system. And then we move up once more. We move up. So that's pretty much what happened. So what you can do on the daily, right? Boom. So this was our previous resistance level a little bit. So this is pretty much what just happened. When we're looking at that, boom. We went back to that level. We came back again, right on this line again, and at this level again, I felt very comfortable again for me to go in and just buy right at this level once again. Why did I do that? Because again, the level of support is being held. So I'm not just gambling. These are high probability trade. Is it possible that it may break it and I was wrong? Sure. But guess what? On on this pullback and that pullback and this one, all of those I made money. Now, where was I where was I wrong? Yeah, I was wrong for a little bit right here. Because on that day, when we came right here on that day, I was like, oh, that's it's cool. I know it's a little nerve-wracking. Why? Because we have let me do that as a zone so everyone can see that even better, right? And if I could just make that a bit more. Okay, there you go. So we have this level. That's a hard level for the S&P to actually take. So what it showed me, he went down, he tried to move up, he went up there that day, and the sellers stepped in and completely pushed it down. And you know, hey, Jimmy brother, welcome to the stream. I see you, man. Thanks for joining. Um, Again, if you sort of if you're looking at that, what you can see here that day, sellers push it down. At the end of the day, I bought calls. At the end of the day, I bought calls because that's my strategy, right? But then this happened. We went down at this level. I said, okay, you know what? We went down. I closed my place, but I'm saying, okay, you know what? But it's not over because why? We have that major support level here. Some of you guys would like to call that structure, right? So, okay, we're pulling back, but structure is not broken because technically we have this very strong level here. That's a strong support level. You can see how many times he tried to hit it. Right, if I can draw that so everyone can see it easier. He came down, boom, bounce up, came down, bounce up, went here, came down, bounce up. So that's like what three, four, whatever hit, and then came down at some point, came down here again. So the more price has been rejected at a specific level, whether it's support or resistance, that makes that level stronger, and that was a very strong support level. Okay, so that day, that day really got me. I was like, okay, seems like we broke structure, but I didn't buy any put. I was bearish. I was still feeling overall bullish. Reason why, again, that day we had the VIX had spiked above 15%, which means whenever the VIX is spiked up over 15%, we have an 85% chance of the market having a green day over the next two trading sessions. So I didn't buy any puts or anything like that. And on top of that, the way I trade my strategy, for me to be convinced we're not getting a false breakout, just like we had here, same thing we had here. For me to be convinced, you need to confirm the downward move. So that day, I needed this to come down and actually confirm, okay, this move is going to be done. I needed that confirmed. And what I did not see was a lower close from this candle. So technically, right at end of closing day that day, I felt comfortable to come in and buy more spy calls again. And not to mention, we coming into we're coming into right into Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving week is one of those weeks where the market is typically green. So we have all of that behind us, and as you can see, what happened? We had that big move up, three white soldiers, and we continue to move. Now, this is what just happened. We recap what just happened. Now let's talk about where we might be going. All right. If you didn't buy here, you were not comfortable. The question I need you to ask yourself, I cannot tell you whether to buy, hold, or sell. Anything I say is not in suggestions for you to buy, hold, or sell your position. But if you felt comfortable enough to buy, not to buy at this level, right? Why didn't you buy down here? I get it. People, there was fear. People were saying this and that, but this is how people lose money because right now, when people are buying, like last Friday, I'm seeing that all these people are talking about, oh, the market's going to all-time high and this and that. Is it going to all-time high? Maybe. I don't know, but based on what I'm looking at in the chart is telling me it's time to be cautious. Why am I being cautious? Because at this level, what I'm looking at is resistance level. Right now, we right at a resistance level. We're getting close to that. And if I may draw this right here, right? So it's the same thing, whether it's on the upward line or the downward line. I trade with the exact same strategy, the exact same principle. What I need to do is confirmation. So technically, we just broke this level, right? We just broke this trend line to move up. You can see here, lower high. Now we just broke the lower high at this level. I need to see confirmation for us to keep going up. And as of right now, at the SPX is showing me, well, I don't have that yet because I don't know how tomorrow's going to work. Right? So we don't have that yet. So I'm waiting to see that. But the fact that we're moving up so fast, this is my prediction. I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you exactly what's going to happen, but I'm looking at based on probability. And actually, to be frank, what I would like to happen, what I would like to happen is us to move, go to that resistance level, pull back, retest, hopefully not too high. I don't want it to go below that. And then we move up. This is the move I'm looking for. That move would makes me feel very comfortable because we're building a base. Because when you keep moving up, right? When you keep moving up, you're moving up nonstop, and you have no support level. The drop is so fast and so hard. I don't like it. That's the reason I would much rather things move up just a little a bit slower. Give me a bit of a pullback, maybe a little consolidation beginning of the week. I don't need any big drop before we start moving. And again, if you look, there's a couple of things you may not be paying attention to, right? Or maybe you're not familiar with those patterns. If you're looking here, there's two patterns that I saw forming, right? I remember when this was here, I said, hey, this looked like a big double bottom to me. This looked like a big double bottom. And I was right. So that has been proven true. Now the second pattern that I'm seeing developing that I'm thinking about right now is an inverted head and shoulder pattern, right? This for that to happen. Okay. So now here's the funny thing about that. So for us to make this move, so we can say right here the left shoulder was made, right? So for us to make the right shoulder, that would mean then what? We're going to have to consolidate a little bit inside of that level for us to have that perfect head and shoulder pattern. I mean, it doesn't mean we're going to have a bunch of days in here, but that would make that pattern even more, even stronger and even better. And why do I like that pattern? If I go back, let's go back and take a look at what happened during Liberation Day. Let me just pull the chart up a little bit so you guys can see exactly what happened during Liberation Day. This is the pattern I'm talking about right here. You can see this. You see that. Boom. And your right shoulder is made. And then look at this one. Look at this one that was made since that happened. That is just simply crazy. So this is what I'm currently looking at. All right, so that's the SPX. So let's take a quick look at the overnight market. That's with futures. Let me just clean up this chart real quick. Boom. Okay. And as you can see now, this is live. This is live. This is on the daily, and this is live. We have the exact same levels for the SPX. That's the S&P 500 still, right? And if you are looking, If you have any questions, by the way, just feel free to drop them in the chat. Drop them in the chat. Any questions that you have, I'd love to receive questions from you guys. Get this a bit more interactive, and whatnot. I'll feel free to ask any questions that you have. And if you have any requests, by the way, I'm willing to review three specific charts, specific stocks, for anyone watching the video right now. So if you have a specific stock that you'd like for me to review, just drop it in the chat real quick. Okay. So if we're looking at that, this is the move I was talking about specifically. So let's draw this again. This is giving us exactly what I was talking about in the SPX. So right now, this is what's live right now. So let's say if if the market was open right now, this is what we would see. Right? So there's it's two things. Preferably, I don't want the day to close, and we have a long time to go. I do not want the day to close while we are in close while we got back below this level, because then that would be qualified as a false breakout. Right? I want that to close above that line, but I don't want us to do what we're doing right now, because right now it seems like we having almost a bearish engulfing pattern. But would that surprise me for if we really went and say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're gonna go to this level right here, because why? We've already formed the left shoulder, and we need to form that right shoulder before we have the continuation move. That would not surprise me at all. That would not surprise me at all, and this is what exactly what I'm looking at. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, let's see. Um, if we go in even a little further down, just dig into it. If we're looking at the 4 hours, again, you see the 4 hours look very, very, very bearish. Right now, that's how the 4 hours is looking. Hopefully, this support level right here in the 4 hours is actually held and push up, right? Hopefully, that can hold as we're sort of looking at this level. Or since we have a long time to go, if you're looking at the MACD, what we hoping that probably that might happen with the MACD, maybe we came down here, pull down a little bit, and then it curls up to give us what? To give us that bullish divergence so we can continue moving up. Okay, let's check the 2 hours. 2 hours still pretty the same thing. As you can see, what at that support level there, it seems like we're getting a much smaller bar, meaning the selling pressure is sort of like slowing down a little bit, which is really really good news. Whenever we're at support level, but we'll see what happens down the line. If we're looking at the 30 minutes, 30 minutes pretty much giving us the same thing. We had a long time of consolidation right at this level. As a matter of fact, let's see if I trace this trend line from down below this level all the way here, it's showing we actually do have room to come down a little more. We do have room to come down a little more on the 2 hours. I mean, that's in the 30 minutes. If we go in the 4 hours, 4 hours is actually telling us, I believe we're at support level in the 4 hours, or have we breached already? No, actually, no, I have that's dynamic, so I have to move that up a little bit. Yeah. So okay, right now on the 4 hours, let me zoom in so people can see this, because that seems pretty small. So in the 4 hours, if we do the trend line in the 4 hours, let me remove those other ones so no one's gets confused. As you can see in the 4 hours, as we stepping up, 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 and seems like now we right here. We need to move up a little bit. We start stepping up, and we're doing a bit of a pullback right now. And right now, that trend line in the 4 hours is still holding. So we're still bullish according to the 4 hours. We are still in a bullish. Uh, um, okay, let's see here. Okay, that's the 30 minutes. Okay, cool. So everybody can see that. So that's the S&P. This is what we're looking at in the S&P right now. So let's see if we jump into. I'd like to review Bitcoin. I'll jump into BTC. I see James. Hey, welcome, my brother. I see you asking for me to review um, Euro USD. I believe that is. I don't really trade forex. I typically don't get into forex. Crypto, and when I say crypto, I'm talking about stablecoin and stocks. More than happy to review those. Okay, we had that channel for Bitcoin that we were following for a long time. You can see how this was working. When we got to this level, I remember I told everyone, hey, it seems like with Bitcoin that we're about to drop. Why did I say that again? I do not have any sort of I don't have a crystal ball or anything like that, but this is why I said I thought we were going to go down on Bitcoin because we were forming a head and shoulders pattern. So I had that traced out for people in the community and saying, hey, this is what we're looking at. And what did we see here? So this is the left shoulder, which is why. So we have the inverse being formed in the S&P 500. But right now, this which is the inverse is very bullish. The actual head and shoulder pattern is actually very, very bearish. And we have the right shoulder right at this level. And then you can see how violent that move was. Meaning my thesis for end of the year for the S&P is still standing. 7,000. That's why it is for the S&P 500 for me. Bitcoin right now is taking a beating. I had these levels already here. Everyone can see that. I believe last meeting we had, I reviewed that and made these and draw these lines. As you can see here, this is a major support level for Bitcoin. Major support level, that's a zone for Bitcoin. That's a buy zone. And it came here, it bounced, right? And it went to that resistance line that I had here. I haven't looked at that in like 3 days, but that resistance line just stood. And then look, oh my goodness, look at that. Oof. This right now, this is not fun. If you somebody who bought Bitcoin at 120, 120, 125, because you keep hearing people saying it's going to 175 or it's going to 1 million or 250 and whatever. I feel for you. I feel for you. I do have some Bitcoin. I don't buy Bitcoin all at once. I've been accumulating a little bit, just nibble a little bit here and there. And I do not plan on selling my Bitcoin. I do not plan on selling. I know if it comes down to like to the 70s, yeah, where let's say 77, 78, I will add a little more. Why? Because I do believe Bitcoin will go higher, and I'm just buying to hold. This is not a swing trade for me. I'm not waiting for tomorrow for me to see Bitcoin go to 250 or 1 million or 500,000 like people are saying. This is an asset that I'm buying and holding and just see how it goes because I do believe um, Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, crypto is the future. Um, Okay, now looking at that again, if you're looking at that, what exactly did we see that happens here? It seems like we had a bit of a we had a drop, right? And then we're pulling up to do what to do what? Like we're doing a bear flag, almost like a break and retest. It's not a perfect retest. Actually, it is a perfect retest that it's doing in that at that level. Because if you're looking at that from this level and that level, so we had that break, retest. Oh my goodness. If that second leg actually hold and it doesn't do, this is the last hope. We hope this makes a double bottom where Bitcoin can recover, or this is where people might get crushed. If we do that, retest, and then we break this level, so that means second leg is going to be about as long as the first leg, if not longer. That means you might be looking at a crazy move. What's down there? Yep, we talking about 65. Yeah, if Bitcoin break that level, we might be going to 65K. I'm not afraid of it. If we go there, guess what I plan on doing? I plan on buying a little more. That's all it is. You buy low. Because, again, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. If you like Bitcoin, if you were willing to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at these levels, right? 120 and up, you loved it. It was great. It made financial sense to you. The price was good, right? I completely agree with you, James, man. Like we might, this might go crazy, but if you liked it at this level, think about that. Imagine this was a house, and you are trying to buy the house for 120,000, and now you still have the money, right? And now they want to sell you the house for $86,000. That's almost like a third cheaper. Would you say no? If you see Bitcoin as an investment, this is not some get rich quick scheme that you're trying to do and think you're gonna wake up the next day and be a millionaire and some crazy stuff like that. Those days, I think those days are pretty much gone. When you see Bitcoin, you wake up one day, for 1 week, it goes up like 40k or some crazy stuff like that. But if it's something you're willing to buy and hold, right? Wouldn't you do that? And then again, as you look at it, like when Bitcoin was, I don't want like 19K and so forth. Let me put this back into perspective for some of you. I understand you might just be thinking like, well, you know what? Um, it's cute to do all this talking, but I don't. You know what, man? I don't really care. Right now, all I know is right now I'm suffering because my money is blah 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 this and that, and I get it. I get it. Remember when everyone was going crazy, when Bitcoin was you consolidate, right, at 11, then it went way up to where? 60 something, 64. Then from 64, this thing dropped all the way back down to 29, right? All the way back down to 29. Then from 29, this is what scared a lot of people, right? From 29, it bounced back again to 64 to try that level. Then this thing actually went as low as 16,000. Now, I personally know people who bought Bitcoin at that level at 65. Um Not 65 but more like 50. And then when it got to 19, they keep hearing it's going to zero, it's going to zero, it's going to zero, and then they sold it. Now, I'm never gonna tell somebody to hold on to your thing. All I tell people sometimes like, hey, you know, why did you buy it? Do you actually believe in it? If you, well, this is what I'm doing. I can't tell you what to do, but this is what I'm doing, right? And there's a lot of people that lost a lot of money. Why? Because they bought here, right at those levels, right? Bought here, they happy. They bought from 47.50, went here. Oh, we about to be millionaire because Bitcoin going to 1 million, and then Bitcoin pull back to 1915. That was when all the big banks, JP Morgan's, everybody on CNBC was letting you know how Bitcoin is trash. It means nothing. It's garbage. Never throw your money into that. Blah blah blah. This and that. What's happening today? Today you're talking about BlackRock is the one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. JP Morgan investing in Bitcoin. All these companies, right? So I just want to put that into perspective for you guys. We were at 65, 60. We got to as high as 67. I think it was actually almost 70. We got to almost as high as 70,000, and this thing dropped to like 15,000. And guess where we are now, right? What would you give to have bought Bitcoin at 15,000, right? You didn't, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But my thing is, if that's something you believe in, why don't you see this as a discount, as an opportunity for you to get in? Why is that? That's the mindset that I approach that I pretty much approach that with. I mean, if you're looking at the if you do the trend line, looking at the trend line right now from this level, that trend line for Bitcoin, that's the weekly on the weekly chart. We're right at the trend line. That's a buy zone for me. So this is why I don't have an issue, buying. But if we do lose that level, if we lose that level, we're in big trouble. That I'll tell you that. You always have to watch the other side of the argument, right? We always have to watch the other side of the argument, but that's the way it is. So now enough about Bitcoin. Let's move on to ETH. All right, what's going on with ETH? Man, ETH has problems. ETH has a lot of problems because right now, yeah, actually, if you look at ETH did um, perfectly what I was talking about Bitcoin. What it did was on this leg, it's break support level, came back, retest the support level, and looking to go down. Um, and right now we're looking at a possible support of what maybe down at this level if things does not change. Again, all these things, nothing is absolute, right? So that's the you have to wait to see exactly how things going to pan out because we still have the possibility that this comes and do a double bottom, right? Do a double bottom and then bounce, and hopefully that's what it does. But we do have that possibility that something like that can also happen. That is a possibility. Okay, I think James, I dropped EUR USD. There you are. Okay, let's take the one from. Even though I don't really review that. Look at these things much. So this thing been consolidating on the daily, really. Okay. So as soon as I pull that, so what I see here, just to begin with, that's on the daily, right? On the daily, what I see is we have a low, we have a higher low, right? So we can say so far seems like on the daily we're making a bit of a double bottom, right? But obviously we still have to worry a little bit because it seems like we're at support level and it's being rejected at support level. But nobody that buy this really holds it for long. So I'm assuming, let's see. So that's, yeah, that's where right at this level. Then I guess we can see it as since he has some long wick. Let's just do this as a more of a little zone. If we go in the 4 hours, okay, 4 hours not too bad. Let me see the MACD. 4 hours not too bad. There's not much going on. Not much going on yet. If we're looking at that, let me see. If I take this here, we already break out of that level. Yeah, there you go. Up. Okay. All right. So if it breaks above, what is it? If it breaks and confirm above this level, seems like we might push up. Um, Possibility we, let's say if we break above here, come down, retest, we might push up all the way here. If I'm not mistaken, I think you guys count these things as pip or whatever. I'm not very familiar with that vernacular, but uh, that's the language I believe you guys use when it comes to forex. That's not my thing, but what I can do is break down the chart and take a look at it. Let's see here again. If we are looking, yeah, that's the 30 minutes. Yeah, there's not. It seems very quiet um, right now, at least for me. So I don't know what quiet means to you guys in forex. To me, that still seems fairly quiet. There's a possibility for a nice move to be made in this level. I would try to make my money right in this range, either in this range here, or if we get a break below. If we get a break below, try to make that money in that range here. I generally would try to avoid taking the trade right in the middle of this consolidation zone. That's happening right there. I would just avoid that, and I'll wait for a trade to either take something here or take something down here. That's what I would be looking at. Okay, so that's pretty much what I have when it comes to that. Oh, I almost forgot to review the QQQ with you guys. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq actually killed it. The Nasdaq actually killed it. The Nasdaq is doing a lot better than the S&P 500 because if we're looking at the Nasdaq, right? Looking at the Nasdaq right here, take a look at the Nasdaq. We can see we completely break above this level. These are the same resistance levels that it had with the S&P 500, right? Same thing it had with the S&P 500. We can see here, but the Nasdaq is looking very, very, very bullish. Um, and right here, you can see the MACD looking like it's coursing up. I hope it does, because quite frankly, if it does, I think we're off to the races. when it comes to that. And for the Nasdaq, yeah, if we're looking at, let's see here, boom, boom, boom. Yep, this is why I was so bullish on the Nasdaq. Even when this happened, we never confirm again. We never confirm below. Even after the trend break, we never confirmed that trend break. We never got a candle that was lower than this candle, and then we completely bounced. What I hope to see tomorrow in the Nasdaq is the same thing. Come back here, just come back here, do a retest, or just keep pushing up. I'm not opposed to pushing up, but I do need it to calm down, the market to calm down a little bit, found some support level, consolidate for a day or two, and then do what it needs to do. That's um that's what I really really would like to see happen. Aside from that, is there anybody else that have anything else they'd like me to cover? Because right now it's about 10. I'm going to wrap up the stream. Right now it's about 10. Okay, let's see here. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's 10 o'clock. Once again, tomorrow, I will be live tomorrow. I'm thinking about doing this every morning to break down the market, like what I had to see what's going to happen in the market, but I may just stick to just doing the reviews because right now I'm doing the reviews. And if you here, man, just smash the like button. Smash the like button. That helps the video get pushed out by the algorithm. I would really appreciate it. I'm coming here trying to drop some gems for you guys. All I ask is that you share the stream and you smash the like button. And if you have any question, any comments, just feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll answer anything you have. And for those who are still with me, what I want to leave you guys with right now is I do know a lot of times some people say, like even myself, one of the things I used to say is I cannot believe I took my time and wasted so much time of my life just working for people while the stock market was always there, and I could have done things that way. There's two ways of seeing that. You can see it that way and say, "Oh, poor me, I wish I knew," and you have that regret, or you just could see it as, you know what, um, you spent that time, you learn, you grow a little bit, you had the experiences that you had in your life, and you are who you are today specifically because of the path you chose to take. And right now, if you do want to live your life differently, you want to do things differently, that's completely okay. It is not too late. Everyone has regrets. Some people have regrets, they didn't chase their dream fast enough. Some people have regrets that they chased their dream and did not spend enough time with family. Some people have regrets because they had somebody they were in love with. They never say anything to them, whatever it may be, or family member, whatever it may be. But what I want to leave you with is it's not too late. You did not waste your time. You acquired tools, you acquired knowledge, you acquired wisdom, and put those to work and get to work on the life you want to live now. Don't focus on the life you used to live. The life you used to live is what made you who you are today. That being said, have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys again tomorrow on the stream. Again, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll probably see them. I think that video will be posted on YouTube anyway, so I'll reply to comments as I see them come through. Have a good night.